Areola bit of this video out of the way first. And I'll tell you why. Because he's my man of the match. He's probably your man of the match. He's most people's man of the match. It was a sensational display. The reason I want to get that out of the way is because I really want to talk about the other aspects to this victory over Manchester City that got us through in the Cup. And if you just look at it from an Areola point of view, then you can think, well, it was a one-sided game. It wasn't. It absolutely wasn't. Did he keep us in the game? Yes. Did he make some wonderful saves? I think particularly the one from John Stones, yes. Absolutely. However, we had our own chances. We really did. Yarmolenko should have scored. Thomas Souček should have scored twice. And I think it's fair to say that had we have had a few more of our better players out, or been able to bring them off the bench, then I think we would have had the game sewn up. And it's really about Moyes that I want to talk about here, because I honestly don't know how he did it. I really don't. We went into that penalty shootout, and I don't know a lot about penalty shootouts about West Ham. Let's be fair, we don't see an awful lot of them. We're not that experienced in it. We haven't done well in recent years in many competitions, so we just don't see them a lot. We don't have much of a barometer to look against and to make a comparison. But I was in no doubt on this one that we would be prepared. Why? Because we're just prepared for everything. And why would a penalty shootout be any different? Everything, our corners, our set plays, our throw-ins, everything seems to be micromanaged to within an inch of its life. So, of course, the penalties were going to be exactly that. And when actually we lined up for our penalties, we looked like we knew what we were doing. We looked like we knew where we were going to hit them and what part of the goal. And we looked like the players knew exactly what order they were going to hit them in. Now, I alluded to this fact in the review that I felt very much Guardiola had his players all in a huddle and was... You could see the conversation with him and Jack Grealish. If you're watching the same feed, I mean, it was annoying it wasn't on English TV, it has to be said. But if you're watching the same feed that I watched, you could very much see him talking with Jack Grealish, saying, you up for this? You're going to do this? And Jack Grealish nodding, saying, oh, yeah, okay, I'll do it. The preparation was the difference in the preparation was quite stark, and you could really say. But again, I don't want to concentrate too much on that, because it would give the indication that that was the difference between the teams. West Ham didn't get through and not through to the next round of the Cup just because we were better in a penalty shootout. Of course, it boiled down to that. We're not just through in the Cup because the goalkeeper was better. No. What I want to go back to is a lot earlier in the game, and in particular when you looked at the team. And when you looked at this defensive partnership of Diop and Dawson, which is I don't care how you say it. A lot of people say, oh, I don't want to be disrespectful. It's not disrespectful. This is our second choice defensive partnership. You know it, I know it, Dawson and Diop know it. Dawson's or Diop are going to want to be the ones that maybe get into play alongside Zuma in the first team at some point, but that's just the way it is at present. And then you look at maybe not so much Ben Johnson, but Ben Johnson is still a work in progress. Ben Johnson has only been playing these last few games because Soufal, he's had a sore dinkle, basically, hasn't he? Let's be fair. Matic need him in the what's it, and it's taken quite a long time to heal. But it seems that he's better now. That's why Johnson got into the team, and Johnson has sort of gone from a squad player who can play right or left back, wing back, whatever formation he's playing, very versatile, to actually staking a claim as the first choice right back. That's 4 consecutive clean sheets. But it was really looking ahead from that. Declan Rice is rested. You've got Souček in there, who's played a lot of games. You think he might be tired. You've got Mark Noble in there, who's, let's be fair, he's on the way out. This is his last season hurrah. He's on the victory lap, basically, isn't he? Let's be honest with you. Then you go a little bit ahead of that, and things start to get a little bit shaky. Still Lanzini's in there, who is just not a first teamer anymore. And then you have to look at, I think in particular, Masuaku playing as a left winger, and then Vlasic in there playing on the right side, and then Yarmolenko playing as a striker. This is a mishmash. To have Noble in there, to have Masuaku in there, to have Vlasic in there, to have Yarmolenko in there, that is absolutely a mishmash. And I'm amazed, how did David Moyes get that group, that particular group of players, that selection, to gel together, to actually, at the end of the first half, I've written down my notes, even Stephens. That was an even first half. It absolutely was. And that's why I wanted to discount the goalkeeping heroics from Areola and the penalty shootout. How has he managed to do that? I mean, they must be so well drilled on the training ground that everybody knew their job. I've been waiting for a little while to find out a little bit more about Vlasic. I'm still not really sure what sort of player he is. I think when I've been looking to find out about him, I want to know, does he dribble much? Is he a dribbler? Is he a passer? Long shots? Whatever. I don't know. I'm still really none the wiser. But there's one thing I do know, and that is he is a massively hard worker. He put in such a shift. They were on there, Yarmolenko and Vlasic, for whatever when he made his first round of substitutions, which was 4 hours of Vlasic, Bowen for Yarmolenko, Benrahma for Masuaku. When he made those first round of substitutions, I got the impression, particularly with Vlasic and Yarmolenko, that they'd almost run 90 minutes worth. They covered, as most people were doing, they'd done that in 60 minutes, basically. They'd run 90 minutes worth of, do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They came off absolutely knackered. Absolutely knackered. But I couldn't understand how we were able to counter-attack. It shouldn't work. Yarmolenko's not got a pace to be able to build an effective counter-attack round. You're meant to be able to lend the ball to somebody, then the rest of the team get up the pitch. How are they managing to do it? Yet we did. We attacked plenty of times in that first half. And he very much asked Masuaku to do a job, which was, I think, can you get us 20 yards further? Can you get the ball, carry the ball forward, and get us 20 yards further up the pitch? Well, he could. I know he was frustrating at times. He hung on to the ball a little bit too long, gave the ball away, but he still had 2 really good shots and created a really, really good chance as well, put a really good ball in. He basically did his job. This guy's not been playing football. I think he's probably on his way out. Can't imagine we'll see him at West Ham next season. Yet he did the job which David Moyes gave him. And the attitude of these players was absolutely top-notch. And then when those 3 came on, and I'm talking about Fornals, Bowen and Benrahma, immediately they were up on the pace. Benrahma had an impact straight away. Saw him go down the left, played a little interchange, 1-2, gave Man City something to think about. He basically did the same job that Masuaku was doing, which is, can you take the ball and can you carry it up the pitch? Can you get this whole team as a unit up that pitch? The answer was yes. And basically, the question was the same of everybody. Can you do your job? The centre-backs, can you repel their attack? The answer was always yes from everyone. It was absolutely sensational. And I don't know how David Moyes must be feeling. I think he's going to have to be, maybe he's just a pragmatic guy. Maybe he's just a really sort of level-headed guy. But he deserves to feel really pleased with himself. The coaching staff deserve to feel really pleased with himself. I mentioned it in the review. I was listening on beIN Sport 2, and it was foreign commentary. So you sort of, because it's foreign commentary, because you can't understand what's being said, you sort of tune out. So you listen to some of the other noises. Paul Nevin, particular, praising, really encouraging Benrahma to get back and to get into shape. And I actually thought that a lot of the time, Bowen and Fornals are running round, just desperate to get the ball. Not headless chickens, I think they were pressing. But in many respects, I thought Benrahma sacrificed himself. Actually, there were times when they were running mad, those two, he just dropped back and he sat in position. He thought, I'm going to help Cresswell out here. And you felt that had been the job given to him. Go in there, help Cresswell out, and then get us up the pitch when you can. It was a magnificent display from everybody. I think Diop looks like the player we bought. Diop looks like the rightful heir to Ogbonna now. I look forward. I don't want to get Ogbonna out of the team. Far from it. Far from it. We're keeping clean sheets with both teams. Long may it continue. But when he does, I'm looking forward to seeing what Zuma and Diop can do as a defensive pair. I think they'll be formidable. I really do. Don't get me wrong, I have a feeling that maybe David Moyes, if Ogbonna gets an injury, might possibly put Dawson in or whatever. And what a great player he is. Such wonderful attitude and determination. And I think you can say that about all our squad. And I look at our squad, and I am so thoroughly proud of him. And I know I said it there, all for different reasons. I marvel when Benrahma did that dribble. I marvelled at his skill. I marvel at Antonio's power. I marvel at Declan Rice's football brain and the way that can switch play and decide when to play and when to drive the team forward, to go on a dribble and pass off his right or left foot. Everybody has things to admire in that team, and all for different reasons. And you need all these qualities in a team. And I looked at Dawson, I thought, mate, you're just... It's hard to call Dawson a winner. He came from Watford. Did he play at West Brom before? I'm not too sure. I can't remember. He's clearly been a journeyman pro all of his life. But I looked at him, actually, you got that winner's mentality. You got that battler's mentality to you. You've got that sort of never say die attitude to you, which is going to carry you through. And as I mentioned in the review, wasn't particularly worried about his penalty just because he's got that mindset. I thought he looked into the goalkeeper, the whites of the goalkeeper's eyes, and said, don't matter, mate. I'm going to do my job. And all I can say is he scored the goal. He didn't look surprised that he'd scored the goal. There was no ridiculous celebration from him. Yeah, there you go, done my job. Another feature of this, just another player that Moyes put out there doing his job. I've not spoken a lot about Mark Noble. But that was massive, Mark Noble scoring that penalty. It really was. It was massive for Mark Noble. It was massive for the crowd at that point and their interaction with what was going to unfold, which was a penalty shootout. It immediately put West Ham on the front foot, which in turn put Man City on the back foot. Massive. Absolutely massive. I've just had a thought to myself. Sorry, I go off tangent now. I'll get back to penalty shootout in a second. I can't believe we're sat here as Hammers Chat. And I'm sat here talking about a League Cup and having knocked Man City out and Man United out. And then in a couple of days, I'll be doing a video about Premier League and we're fourth in the Premier League. And a couple of days before this, like last week, I did a video about the Europa League because West Ham are in Europe and we're top of our group having won all of our games. And like we're not conceding any goals. This is weird, by the way, okay? And I'm conscious about this. Now, thinking I need to talk now about the League Cup and get this video wrapped up because we've got another videos to come up which are going to be dealing with the next competition. We're in all the competitions. It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. I think the only person that's not surprised, David Moyes, who came in and told us what he does win football matches. A penny for Ed Woodward's thoughts at Manchester United, by the way. Because let's be perfectly honest, look, I'm sure Man United fans say, no, we want Moyes back or whatever. But I think there's one reason that David Moyes failed at Man United and one reason alone. And that's because there were some troublesome players, some senior players, some players who won Champions League and all the rest of it. They took one look at Moyes and think, don't you tell us what to do. Don't you show us videos of Phil Jagielka. Have it defend. We know better than you. And you know what? I guess I sort of understand that. But looking at it now, I'm not even going to ask. It's an insulting question to say, would you swap David Moyes for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Of course we wouldn't as West Ham fans. But I've got to be honest with you, I don't think Watford would swap Claudio Ranieri for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. In fact, maybe Daniel Farke. I don't know. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a... I've said this for a long, long time. The longer he stays at Man United, the better for West Ham. Shouldn't matter for West Ham, but the fact of the matter is, over the last 18 months, West Ham are contesting 4th and 5th spot in the Premier League. So the longer he stays, the better chance we've got. At some point, Man United to get it right. They're a massive club. They've got massive spending power. But I'll tell you what, I just wonder, penny for their thoughts, actually, looking at the job that David Moyes is doing, that they sacked David Moyes, and looking at the job that the guy they got in is doing now. I don't know. It's ridiculous. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Who looks closer to winning the trophy, Man United or West Ham? I'll leave that to you. I'll tell you something. Well, they certainly haven't won the League Cup, are they? And I'll tell you something else now. Anyway, so back to this penalty shootout. So Mark Noble sets the tone. Immediately puts Foden on the back foot, and I love that player. I want him to do so well for England. I really do. I want him to have a really good career, Phil Foden, and he will do. He had a crap Champions League final. They're out of the cup this time. He's already won some trophies. He's fine. Don't worry about Phil Foden, right? He's fine. But it set the tone. And then just to go through the penalties, Bowen, bang. Dawson, we've discussed. Cresswell, pure technique there. Didn't he play well, by the way? Not really mentioned Aaron Cresswell too much. And then, so obviously Foden missed and Cancelo scored. Jesus scored. Grealish scored. So at that point, Sai Benrahma addresses the ball in the knowledge that if he scores this, West Ham have beaten Man City. Now, I'll tell you about Benrahma. Benrahma has got a reputation for not being a big game player, for bottling it in the big games. Not particularly West Ham. He had it at Brentford's. That's that. Benrahma stepped up today. He massively stepped up. He started the season well, didn't he? At the moment, West Ham have gone through a little bit of form through open play. We're not really firing. That's where we've relied on. I mean, okay, aside from the Bowen goal in Europe, which sort of took a deflection off the goalkeeper, the last 4 games, they've mostly been, we either haven't scored, like in the game against Man City, or they've all been from set plays. It ain't really happened for Benrahma and Fornals and Antonio and that sort of thing from open play, right? But Benrahma started the season well. We know all about Benrahma's technique. Today was different. Today, Benrahma really stepped up. As I say, I felt he was really disciplined when he came on. He helped protect Aaron Cresswell, carried the ball forward when he wanted to. But then it came to the pressure one. Now, I've no doubt at all that we were organised for this. Now, if you're organised for this, you're very much saying who wants to take the first penalty. And that's what I spoke about Noble and Benrahma in the review, because I do think the first and the last penalty are key. Absolute key here. Because I think everyone's brave to take one, by the way. I really do. But I think the first and the last, there's something about that, isn't there? I think that's when the nerves are jangling and... Jangling? Am I right? Jangling, is that right? Nerves are I don't know. No, not dangling. There's nothing dangling. Anyway. It was nerve. I think it's nervy. But you get to the pressure of that last one. And there's nothing but goodwill from the West Ham fans towards Benrahma, but there's massive pressure. The pressure of, 60,000 people in the stadium. I was going to say everyone watching on TV. Most people weren't, because Sky decided not to broadcast it. I don't know what they did broadcast, but why they didn't broadcast West Ham Man City, I don't know. You know what? I guess it was 0-0. Why not? They're possibly better, more entertaining games, maybe. But Benrahma to step up under that pressure, I just thought it was wonderful. I really had fun. I thought, there you go. There's your answer. Are you going to bottle it? If Benrahma had a bottler's mentality, he would have shown it then. He would have fluffed it. He would have got nervous. I would have sort of understood anyone being nervous and doing that. Look at Phil Foden, the first one. I say first penalty. Man City's first penalty, Phil Foden. Don't tell me Phil Foden takes penalties like that. And, he doesn't. It's just the pressure got to him a little bit. Phil Foden has probably got the best technique of anyone in the Premier League. He's up there. He's in the top 5 players in the Premier League for technique. But can you apply that technique when under pressure and remain focused? On this occasion, he couldn't. Tell you what, Sai Benrahma could. And I thought it was magnificent. And I'm pleased for him. I was going to say pleased for him to be the hero. He'll be one of many. Areola will be the hero. Noble will be the hero. Benrahma will be the hero. Dawson, Diop. I literally take your pick. But make no mistake about it. There'll be people who are more deserving of the bubbly, of the champagne or whatever they give out than some of the players I've mentioned. But people will be under no illusion in that dressing room, the shift that the unexpected players put in, that Yarmolenko put in, that Masuaku put in, and that Vlasic put in. They really will. They'll be getting a massive pat on the back because they basically softened the opponent up and allowed the penalty takers to knock them out. And knock them out is exactly what we did to Man City. I've spoken for long enough anyway. It's still the same night. I'll release this tomorrow. It's still the same night. I can't. What's the time? It's 11:10. It's 11:10. It's crazy. I honestly, this is an absolute rarity. No wonder I've done nearly a 20-minute video. Oh, I left it too late. I've got to do it. This video is sponsored by this long-winded, winded video is sponsored by the One Football app. The link is in the description below, by the way. If you want to read about how West Ham have knocked Manchester City out of the League Cup, if you want to read about everything about West Ham, it's all in one place. You literally, as you download the app, you click who you support, West Ham, and have all the news, all the stats. You can look at all the stats. And there'll be a lot of them. Look at how many saves Areola made. Look at how many tackles Ben Johnson or Dawson or Diop made. It's all there. Yeah, if you use the link below to download it, it would be very, very much appreciated. Absolutely buzzing. Brilliant. Brilliant. Hey? Good. I was going to say good times for your hammer. What's going on?